Evangelist Just Brimer, thank you so much for stopping by. It's official. Tinubu and his agents, Lamidi Apapa, they've taken over the Labour Party. Oh yes, they've taken over with the connivance of the judge. The judge they went to say all manner of things, all manner of lies against the Labour Party and against the chairman Abure. So they are through with that. And as far as they're concerned, they've not taken over the Labour Party. I'll tell you the story. Lamidi Apapa, Tinubu's agent, the one I say is a native doctor. When you look at him, of course, he looks exactly like a native doctor. He woke up and decided that Labour Party, things were not going the way he wanted. He was one of the executives of Labour Party in the state. So he decided that things are not going the way he wanted. He wants P2B to withdraw the petition in the tribunal against Tinubu. Why would any reasonable Labour Party member say that at this time? Well, he said it. He said it because he has money. He has huge stash of cash behind him. And you know, in Nigeria, once you have money, you can do and undo. You can literally kill and get away with it. So he went to court and he said to the court, look, Abure forged the signature of some executives when he granted P2B a waiver to run as president. You know, when you haven't been a member of a party for a long time, political party, the law allows parties to grant you waivers. They grant you a waiver to run as a member of that party and you become a member of that party. That was what happened because P2B had been in PDP before he decided that, look, Labour Party is the best place for me. And Obedience just supported him. Obedience just, you know, joined Labour Party in their millions. So that's the success that P2B enjoyed. Because of the support of Obedience, he won the election. The election that we watched Mahmoud rig in favor of Tinubu. You know, when I see all the wickedness that's going on, all that Tinubu is planning to do and how he's going to deal with everyone that opposes him, it reminds me of that scripture in the Bible. I think it's in 1 Kings. It's 1 Kings chapter 12, when Rehoboam took over from his father. When his father died and he took over, he was the son of one of the sons of King Solomon. And when his father took over, he had a meeting with the young people and said, look, what do you think? How do you think I should rule these people? And they said, look, deal with them. Deal with the people. Use heavy-handedness. You don't lighten their yoke. Make sure that you punish them more than your daddy punished them. He went to elders. Elders said to them, just serve the people. Just love the people. Serve them. Once you do that, the people will come under you. They'll support your leadership. Rehoboam decided to listen to the young people that gave him the bad advice. And he said, look, people, my people, my finger is going to be thicker than my father's waistline. My finger. He said, my father used whips on you. I'm going to scourge you with scorpions. I'm going to deal with you. And that's what we see happening. We're going to look back and see that Buhari's regime was even piece of cake compared to what Tinubu would do to us. We're going to realize that, look, Buhari's government was like Nigerians would say, moi moi, compared to Tinubu's wickedness, his planned aggression, his planned destruction of Nigerians. As long as we don't support him, as long as he knew that we didn't vote for him. So he's coming at us with a vengeance. Let me continue the story. Lamidi Apapa, Apapa Wolf, as Mayegun calls him Apapa Wolf. He said that the waiver Abure used to give P2B a waiver, all the waivers, he signed for all the people who contested the election under Labour Party, that the waivers were fraudulent. He said that because the waiver is supposed to be signed by the chairman and the executives, Lamidi Apapa is saying that those who signed that, I beg your pardon, Abure, that he forged the signature of some members of the executives. He is lying and telling us that Abure did not have the consent of the executives to sign the waivers that were signed for everyone that participated in the election that got a waiver. A lot of them contested in the Senate. They got up to 70-something. In the National Assembly, under Labour Party, they did. So all the presence of Labour Party members across the country is making Tinubu feel very uncomfortable. So Tinubu has backed up his agent, Lamidi Apapa. Is Tinubu's agent. Tell me, you see Lamidi Apapa in the media. He's all over the media now. And the media are giving him publicity and saying there's crisis in Labour Party. You and I know there's no crisis in Labour Party. There's none. Except that Tinubu infiltrated the Labour Party with his money. You know, he has loads of cash. Has infiltrated. And of course, you know, Nigerians that have no soul, they have a price. Once they name their price, Tinubu is ready to meet up the obligation. Oh yeah, he has loads of cash. He has. But what Tinubu does not know is that there's kind of problem you have that money cannot solve. Yes. And that's the kind of problem God has given Tinubu. He's yet to realize that. Anyway, let me continue with my story. I don't want to digress from this story now. Lamidi Apapa, that man you see, that native doctor, he has 4 sons, senior advocates of Nigeria, on his case. He has employed 4 sons. Do you know what it means to employ 4 sons, senior advocates of Nigeria? Do you know what it means to employ them? For a month, for you to employ them, you pay their bills. You spend over 15 million naira on each son that you employ. That's why Nigerians bribe their way to get this son. Oh yes, they're ready to pay an arm and a leg to the authorities in charge to make sure they get that son, senior advocate of Nigeria, by their name, whether they are qualified or not. Oh yes. So, Lamidi Apapa has 4 sons working for him and other junior lawyers. That native doctor you see. Where did Lamidi Apapa get all the millions, tens of millions to pay to these senior advocates of Nigeria? That's a question you should ask yourself. If you're a Tinubu supporter and you're doubting me and telling me there's crisis in Labour Party, you need to tell me where Lamidi Apapa got those tens of millions to be able to retain these senior advocates of Nigeria as his lawyers and other junior lawyers. So Lamidi Apapa has gone to court. He went to court to tell the court that Abure erred. He committed fraud by forging the signature, allegedly forging the signature of other executives in order to grant Obi and those who contested the election who were not initial members of Labour Party, who joined to contest election under Labour Party, that the waiver granted them was fraudulent, that is not real. Because of that, their election is null and void. So he is instructing Obi's lawyers to come to him immediately within 48 hours because he needs them to withdraw Obi's petition from the tribunal, the Presidential Election Tribunal. And he needs every Labour Party member that is contesting because the elections were rigged across Nigeria. They were rigged for some people who are APC members and PDP members. So Lamidi Apapa is saying if you are a Labour Party member and you've gone to court to file a petition in the tribunal to say that you were rigged out by APC members who have got the ticket now, he said your petition in the court is null and void. He's annulling all the petitions of Labour Party members in court. He said, look, you have no right. And also, he's saying that everybody who won election under Labour Party, who was granted a waiver to contest the election, just like the Abia State governor, yes, and P2B, and so many of them that won the election, he said the election is null and void because the waiver signed by Abure and his executives, that Abure forged the signature of some executives. That's what Lamidi Apapa and Tinubu are telling the court. And you know what? They've got the judge they want. Oh, yes. They've got the judge they want on the case. And the Labour Party people said, no, judge, you have no jurisdiction to entertain this case. You don't have the jurisdiction. They tabled the motion for that. The judge struck it out and said, look, I have jurisdiction. I have a right to hear this case. And he didn't just listen to that case because that was what went to court. He now said, Abure, in the meantime, don't ever say that you're Labour Party chairman anymore. Don't parade yourself as Labour Party chairman. Yes, that's what the pronouncement the judge made. The issue they went to talk about was whether the judge had jurisdiction to hear the case or not. So he granted the Tinubu's people, Lamidi Apapa, he granted them that, yes, I have jurisdiction to hear the case because he's favoring them. And he went further to say, Abure, don't you ever parade yourself as Labour Party chairman. And immediately he said that. Lamidi Apapa came out And the press were waiting for him. Of course, the press, those that are giving the positive coverage have been bought. They have been bought. They're giving Labour Party, they're giving Tinubu and Lamidi Apapa positive coverage and lying to the people that there's crisis in Labour Party. Which crisis? There's no crisis in Labour Party, except that Tinubu has infiltrated Labour Party and is using the courts to take over the Labour Party so that he can truncate the petitions in the election tribunal. Tinubu rigged the election and said to Obi, go to court. Obi is in court now. So why do you want to stunt the court process by using an agent to scatter the Labour Party? And you know what? I need to laugh at this juncture because this is the kind of story you hear. If you don't laugh, you kill yourself for nothing. Oh yes, Tinubu is a good student of Abacha and Babangida because these were the people that really dealt with him when he was an activist, in quotes, so-called activist, when he was fighting for democracy, so to say, you know. So they really dealt with him. At a point, he ran out of the country because Abacha was, of course, killing every opposition. So now, Tinubu has learned so much from them, and it's the same script. He's playing out. He's acting out Babangida's script and Abacha's script. That's what he's acting out, because he said to himself, after they got away with it, I'm going to get away with mine. You remember when we conducted an election and Tinubu, Babangida got an agent called Aton Zeribe. The last time we saw Aton Zeribe, it was a pitiful sight. Last time we saw him in the papers, his picture in the media, it was a pitiful sight. So Babangida used Aton Zeribe to announce all sorts of things, to say all sorts of rubbish, to cancel June 12 and, you know, just vomit rubbish. And he got away with it. He did. Now, Tinubu wants to do exactly the same thing. It's either you fall in line or you're silenced. And any media house, you remember Buhari closed down AIT. For months, he closed down the AIT television. Tinubu is going to close down many television stations in Nigeria. Once he takes over, he's going to brutally silence the media. And you know what? Many of the media houses in Nigeria are going to fall in line. They're going to be used as Tinubu's propaganda outfit, mouthpiece. That's what because that's the only way they're going to survive the onslaught of Tinubu's wickedness and meanness and hard-heartedness. That's the only way they're going to survive it. Oh yes, I mean, do you blame them? One gets to survive somehow. Everybody cannot run out of Nigeria. You have to fall in line, otherwise you get killed. So now, Lamidi Apapa, Tinubu's agent, is telling the courts to arrest P2B. He's saying that P2B must be arrested. Yes, that's the next thing he's praying the courts to grant him. And you know what? When money talks, yes, when money talks, the courts are going to rule in his favor that yes, actually P2B should be arrested because he contested the election with a fraudulent waiver. Do you see what we're getting into? You know something? Somebody wanted to argue with me the other day. He's a Tinubu supporter. I said, what do you mean? I said, sir, I'm sorry. I don't wish him evil. He won't die. Tinubu will rule and complete his 8 years. That's fine, no problem. But we have to know that whether you're a Tinubu supporter or not, you're going to suffer just like ordinary Nigerians. Buhari supporters are suffering the same thing all other people are suffering. The kidnappers don't know whether you're a Buhari supporter or not. They don't know. The kidnappers do not, the terrorists that they branded bandits because they're the ones sponsoring them to cause commotion. They're the ones sponsoring them for Fulani and people from Niger Republic to Buhari's home, where he prefers to, you know, call home. They have to take over. The Fulanis have to take over Nigeria. And whether you like it or not, the Fulanization and Islamization agenda is working out very well. The other day on social media, we saw a video of Shetima, playing with the bandits. We was just, you know, smacking them, you know, and laughing with them. Then at a point, he removed the headscarf of one of them and started touching his beard. And, you know, you could see that he's just paying them glowing compliments. And like, my guys, you guys are doing the job you're meant to do. The Christmas Day bomber that was jailed at a time, Kabiru Sokoto, you remember that by the time we knew it, immediately Buhari decided that it was time for him to carry out his Fulanization, Islamization agenda. The guy ended up in Shetima's government house in Borno State. That's where the Christmas bomber ended up. A man that bombed and killed people. They found him in Shetima's government house in Borno State. So it's open secret that Shetima is the one sponsoring some of these terrorists. Before Buhari came into power, they were arresting terrorists and they were taking them to court. Since Buhari's extended Islamization and Fulanization agenda, no terrorist has been arrested. None have been taken to court. The headsmen are slaughtering people and raping women and taking over farmlands. None of them have ever been arrested by police. Have you ever seen any arrested? Because that's the agenda. They have to take over the country and they need Tinubu to work with them. Tinubu will just be there as placeholder for Shetima. It's Shetima that will rule. It's the terrorists that will take over. So by the time Tinubu, yes, he will complete his 8 years. Yeah, that's fine, no problem. He will not die. Yes, and after he's completed 8 years, he won't die. He will be alive to watch the fruits of his labor and enjoy it. Shetima will take over, and then the flag of the terrorists will be raised over Asorok. And then would have completed the full cycle for all those who support Tinubu and all those who support Buhari. I'm sure by then you'll be cheering and saying, wow, we really, really achieved what we wanted to achieve. Your testimony will be full by then, So make no mistake about it. By the time Tinubu comes, you won't recognize your country anymore. The terrorists will still have their way, but Tinubu's own persecution will be worse than Buhari's own, because at least Buhari knew that people voted for Buhari. Yeah, a lot of people voted for Buhari, but Tinubu, nobody. Tinubu, nobody voted for. No Nigerian wants Tinubu. He wants to make Igbos scapegoats. He's destroying the properties of Igbos and estates built by Igbos in Lagos. He wants to make Igbos scapegoats. The spokespersons of Tinubu, of Labour Party, they are not Igbos. The people who started the obedience movement, they are not Igbos. Most of them are Yorubas. So by the time Tinubu finishes dealing with the Igbos, he will come after the Yorubas and everyone. A woman, Ojikutu, that was deputy governor of Lagos State, that said Tinubu denied him everything, denied her everything due to her the moment he became governor and started appointing governors one after the other. Each governor that finishes, Tinubu would appoint another stooge as governor. They denied this woman everything due to her as a deputy governor. She said, my life is in danger. Tinubu is going to kill me by the time he becomes president. We remember that Akerele that was Tinubu's deputy when Tinubu was governor. Yes, I'm telling you this because I know. This is not just a question of, I read it somewhere. I have been a journalist all my life. From the age of 20 when I left university, I served in Bende Television. I presented programs on Imo Television, on NTA, but before I went to Lagos to work with Champion newspapers, from there I went to Concord newspapers. So I know the details of everything. I was a journalist when Babangida was in power. I was a journalist when what's his name? Abacha was in power. So I'm telling you from a place of knowledge. I'm not just making things up now. I know what I'm saying. I was a journalist when Tinubu was governor of Lagos State. Yes. At that time, I had set up my media outfit, Destiny Communications Limited. I was an independent television producer, presenter. I ran my TV programs on TV, on NTA Channel 10. So I know what I'm saying. I started a magazine. I started publishing a magazine on the financial sector and the insurance industry in particular. The magazine was called Nigerian Insurance Today magazine. So when Tinubu was governor, I was a private media owner, chief executive and employee of Labour. So I know what I'm saying. This woman, Mrs. Akerele, was Tinubu's deputy governor. Tinubu dealt with this woman for daring to oppose a particular decision he was taking at the time. She was his deputy. She just aired her opinion that let's not do things this way. Let's do it that way. Tinubu got the whole cabinet to keep malice with this woman. This woman says when she enters the cabinet meeting, is it Monday mornings or Tuesday mornings, any day they do it, he said nobody will say a word to her. Nobody will say hello, ma. Nobody will say good afternoon, good morning. None of them will talk to her. This woman went through hell under Tinubu as the deputy for 4 years. All the cabinet members, because you have to fall in line or Tinubu will deal with you. Or he will deal with you. They kept malice with this woman. Who does that? Who does that? That's the man that's coming, that stole our mandate, that's coming to be president, and he's ready to silence everyone. Don't say I didn't warn you, but you know me, I will have the last laugh. I know, because Tinubu is not God. He's trying to play God. Tinubu, you're not God. You're wasting your time playing God. If you're God, all the problems that have bedeviled you, the problems that not an Igbo man caused, not a Hausa man, nobody caused it, those problems should make you go to God in repentance so that God can deliver you. Otherwise, all your plans, Tinubu, they will implode. You and Shetima, all the things you're planning against Nigerians will implode and backfire on you. I know what I'm saying. The other man that is criticizing Tinubu fervently on social media, Mayegu, is not an Igbo man. But you need to hear what the words coming out of Mayegu's mouth. He has such knowledge, and he has a lot of secrets of what Tinubu and his men are doing. I like watching Mayego's social political. In fact, I'm going to show you one of his programs where he analyzed Nigeria so well. It's incredible. The guy is a wealth of knowledge, and he knows so much about what's going on in Nigeria. I'm going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I forgot to say, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the subscribe button. Click like on this video and share. Share it. Nigerians need to be prepared for what is coming. It's not funny. I'm still laughing. Thank you so much.